Funding for what I do is provided in part by my generous supporters on Patreon, and by direct donations from viewers like you. Thank you! Hello, Kellen here, and today I'm talking about something that is not so pleasant. So, I'm pretty sure everyone who follows this channel has heard of the game development kit, Unity. And, to those of you who do not know, Unity recently started a new tax. They still have the old one where, you reach a certain threshold of sales and it's like, okay, we're going to take a portion of your revenue. This is on top of that. And this one is very insidious. This isn't like, if they had just increased that old one, that would suck, but it would at least be, compared to this, reasonable. Instead, this is an install tax. For every copy of a game that falls under the threshold, they will tax the developer for a player installing the game. That is, like, you download the game, you run it for the first time, and Unity is like, oh hey, new install, we're taking 20 cents. And, like, this is so easy to abuse, right? Someone could just install the game multiple times, not even realizing that they're getting the developer charged for it. Or, heck, Unity could just be fudging the numbers. See, this is the scary part. How do we know that Unity is being honest about what they're taking? Like, you sell a game on Steam. Let's say you make however many sales it takes to reach the money threshold. Let's just say 100,000, right? That's 100,000 sales. So you should know that Unity's gonna take, like, I don't know, 20,000 from you. Easy. You know exactly what it is. The math is there. It's clear. But here, they are taking X times 20%, and you're not allowed to know what X is. Because the developer can't always install, or can't always track installs themselves. They don't necessarily know that, and even then, there could be false positives, false negatives, and Unity can use this as the perfect excuse to just say, hey, that was a false negative. We found out they actually did install it, so we're taking another 20 cents from you. And 20 cents by itself doesn't sound like a lot, but when you talk about games that have like hundreds of thousands to millions of players, or not even like individual games having that much, but like just collectively all the games made in Unity that reach this sales point, not even sales, just revenue on the game itself anyway. And there's no, like, I can't find anything that confirms that, if the tax pushes you back under that threshold, like, do you no longer have to pay it? I don't know. Like, let's say that you cross it by just a hair. You get just a hair above the threshold. And then all of a sudden you lose over half of your revenue because, hey, it turns out people have been installing games over and over. Must be something wrong on your end, developers, because, hey, if players keep having to reinstall, there must be something wrong with it. So you need to fix that, and we're going to keep charging you so that it's harder for you to fix that, because that means you can't pay your developers as much. You can't pay your coders to figure out the problem. And, oh, hey, that's right. The coders have to install the game too to figure out what went wrong. So, if a game is in active development and they make a new build, everyone who tests it, everyone who works on it is going to have to, like, will that be counted as an install? Can they modify an existing install? Or is loading up that new version going to count as a new install and they get charged every time they edit their own game? Imagine paying a tax to someone for using your own eraser and writing over something that you erased on your own paper, just because the maker of the eraser is like, hey, we're going to charge you for using it. You paid for the eraser, but we're also going to charge you for using it. But then, I mean, this is the world we live in. Like we've got people subscribing to their own vehicles. The guy who owns Unity used to work at EA, and he's the guy who was like, hey, we could totally get away with charging players for reloading their guns in a video game. Not even getting more ammo, just the action of reloading. When are we going to take capitalism out of gaming? When are we going to kill capitalism? Like, this is so self-evident that this system does not work. At least for the 99% it does not work. That they keep getting away with this crap. But hey, developers, capitalist or not, there is something you can do to help you against Unity. And that would be not just to let like news outlets and YouTubers and stuff circulate this stuff. You guys have the games, you guys have the source codes. And a lot of these games are on platforms that automatically update, like Steam. Put a message in your games. Get the word out, because players like to support creators. And if they see that a creator is being taken advantage of, they're gonna raise hell for it. So yeah, get your gamers on your side. Tell them what is going on. Tell them to put pressure on Unity, because you've got millions of people who like your games. Speaking to the gaming industry collectively, you've got millions of people who like what you make, and millions of these gamers are playing games made in Unity. So if they see that, hey, this thing that runs a good chunk of my Steam library is taking advantage of creators, they're gonna get pissed off. Like, people get pissed off just for Valve still charging 30% industry rate. Like, you got people on your side. Just let them know what's going on. And if you think about it, you've actually got the ability to spread the news faster than any news outlet could. If you put an update in your games telling players what's going on, what Unity is doing, this despicable action, you would have millions of people knowing right away. And Unity would have nowhere to hide. This is sort of like the reverse of writing to your congressman. This is the congressman saying, hey everyone, there's a problem, there's a bill, we need you guys to vote on it right now. Imagine if that happened. Democracy might actually get somewhere. Hey, that'd be nice. But yeah, there's that, and then of course there is switching to alternative engines. I highly recommend Godot, because there are tools that will allow you to convert your project from Unity to Godot. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Godot is a one-to-one drop-in replacement for Unity. There's some things Unity can do that Godot cannot yet do. But we got some pretty big companies using Unity. And these companies could invest in Godot, could get some of their developers to contribute to Godot. You could make Godot the same level of industry standard that Blender is to animation. Like, seriously, you guys could totally make that happen. And once it gets to that point, you would never have to pay another upstream fee, ever. Like, why do you think Linux is so popular in, like, the enterprise sector? Because you don't have to pay for something if you're not invested in improving it. If you think something is just fine as it is, you can just use it and never have to pay. And the same could be done with game development. You could invest just whatever you feel like. There's no set amount. There's no minimum fee or anything like that. There's no tax. And I guarantee companies would love the idea of using a tool that they don't have to pay a tax on. Actually, I mean, for all we know, Godot could end up, like, if they're not already, they could end up listed as like a a nonprofit that you can donate to and get a tax write-off for it. Like, why not get it to that point? Get it to the point where you get a tax write-off for improving your tools. We can do that. We can make that happen. So yeah, invest in Godot, contribute to it, get the word out to your players through your games, and put all the pressure you can on Unity. And to those of you who are just starting out getting into game development, or you're just a hobbyist and you're like, well, I mean, I'm not reaching that threshold, I don't really need to worry about this. Policies change all the time, and Unity's policies have only been getting worse. If they can't get the money they want out of companies, they'll find a way to get it out of hobbyists. Like, it's free to use now, but remember, Game Maker used to be cheap, and then it became $300 per license. Or more if you bought the export modules separately. That's what made me go away from Game Maker. Is they're like, okay, you can pay $300 all at once, or you can pay for just the ones you want, but then find out later, oh, you actually do want all these other platforms, because people on them want to play your game. So now you gotta play more. You gotta pay more, not play more. They play more, you pay more. So yeah, these proprietary commercial game development kits, don't trust them. And there are so many free ones out there. There's Godot, there's GDevelop, there's Lateral GM, which also goes by Enigma. It's a Game Maker one-to-one alternative. And hey, I'm making my own if you want to give it a shot. It's not the best, but if you want to give it a shot, links down below. But yeah, there's plenty of alternatives, and there's plenty of ways around this. We just need to really starve Unity. We need to starve it. It's the only way anything is going to change. But even then, I think it might be too late. I think there might be no saving it. Because my suspicion is they're going to back down from this specific decision, and then they are going to find a sneakier way to squeeze more money out of people. So, yeah, just let Unity fall by the wayside. Just let him be forgotten. Switch to Godot, and yeah, I think that's all I've got. This is kind of just a rant, pretty quick little thing, but yeah. And again, if anyone wants to try my engine, I'd love some feedback on it. But yeah, I think that's all for this time. So thanks for listening to me ramble, and yeah, hopefully I'll have something more fun to talk about in the future. But thanks for sticking around, and I hope you guys will join me next time. Bye!